An update to you next hour on KSL. For now, back to the studio.
All right, we will look for that. Andrew, thank you. Well, a controversial bill that would give money to students out of public schools is one step closer to becoming law. Today, the Senate Education Committee passed House Bill 215, which includes a raise for teachers and also money for families to send their children to homeschool and also to private school. News specialist Matt Rascone is at the state capitol with more. Matt?
Yeah, Ashley, this is legislation that passed the House last week. Today, it went to the Senate Education Committee. They heard public comment. They spoke to the bill's sponsors and ultimately voted to move that bill forward. And that vote came down to 7-2, two opponents to that bill. But it came after a 2+ hour meeting inside the state capitol today that was just full of supporters and opponents of the bill. The bill is puts in place a scholarship that provides $8,000 to a student who wants to go to private school or do homeschooling. And it's attached to a pay increase for public school teachers. It's a controversial action that they've made, but we know many of these teachers who would get a raise have actually opposed the bill because of that attachment. Other opponents argued that there are already plenty of options out there for students through the Public Education Committee, like the dual immersion program, like online programs, like public charter schools. And supporters included parents, students, and others who said this bill would really help offer more opportunities to children who just don't fit into that public education system. And right now, the Utah State Board of Education held an emergency meeting this morning to discuss the bill. They ultimately voted 10-5, so five opponents to oppose that bill, or 10 opponents, excuse me, to oppose that bill. And so they have said that they do not support this. Now, we do have some sound, and we'll show more of that to you coming up in the news at 6, where you actually hear from opponents and supporters of this bill, and many of them who showed up in the meeting today to make their voices heard. Ashley?
All right, Matt, we'll see you at 6. Thank you. Well, another bill being considered today.
How the Safe UT app helped find her. And hundreds are rallying at the Capitol tonight as the Senate committee votes to advance a bill that ties teacher pay raises to a new school voucher program. We break down what comes next.
Just a minute.
All right, Kevin, thanks. A bill to help give students an education outside of public schools is one step closer to becoming law. Today, the Senate Education Committee passed House Bill 215, which includes a raise for teachers and money for students to be homeschooled or to go to a private school. News specialist Matt Rascone is at the state capitol tonight, where there is a bill, a rally tonight against the bill. Right, Matt?
Yeah, Deanie, and the rally is just wrapping up just in the last half hour or so, but you can still see people lingering, and the message on the wall, which is that they're calling this a public indictment on the public education system, this bill that is, and the bill sponsors have pushed back on that. And we heard in today's meeting many who are for and against it.
A scholarship fund like this one would have been a life raft. I know there are other families like mine who are desperate to help their children, but lack the resources to do so.
Education should be fully funded before we even begin to funnel tax dollars into the private sector. This bill will further devastate funding for our public schools, which are already stretched thinner than any other state in the union.
Now, the bill would pull $42.5 million from income tax revenue. That revenue helps fund public and higher education, but it can also be used to support children and people with disabilities. The Senate Education Committee spent nearly 2.5 hours on this bill today. It would set up a scholarship worth $8,000 for students to attend private school or homeschool, and it's attached to a pay increase for public school teachers. Supporters say the bill offers more customized options for students. Opponents have argued the public education system already offers options, including immersion programs, online programs, and charter schools. And we talked to the Utah Association of Public Charter Schools about this. They said they are neutral on this bill, but in favor of school choice.
Because parents want more choices. They want to match the education that their child gets with a specific school. What does my child need?
And I'm personally neutral on it. I think that, to the best school wins. If I was worried about losing students, I would make sure that our schools were the best schools. I wouldn't just try to stop other schools from opening.
More than 800 charter school students were at the Capitol today, and actually not for this bill, it just was coincidence, but because of National Charter School Week, these schools would benefit from the pay increase. But some told us the scholarship fund wouldn't really impact them because charter schools are free. So in the Senate Education Committee today, they passed the bill 7-2, two opponents, and now it heads to the full Senate for, of course, more debate on this. Deanie?
Yeah, Matt, a lot of contention around this one. We'll see how it goes. Thanks.
Utah may be one step closer to